actually focus on making sure that the systems are up to date, right? And then also that there's no outside attacks. So, they keep the network safe, and they make sure that our VPN, which is a virtual private network, it's a tunnel. VPN is a tunnel that allows you to access a certain network, right? So this whole school is on one big network, right? But it's under a private network. So if I were to come up with my laptop, I don't have access to the main system here. I would have access to a public system. When I log in with my laptop, I log into a VPN first, which creates a tunnel between my internet and their network, and it allows me to transact and do things like that within the network. So the security department, the information security and SOC ops, they're working to make sure that stays protected, right? And that involves a lot of different SSL certificates, which is the way that we create private keys, and I can go into that's a little bit in depth, but essentially there's a handshake when you're connecting to a network, right? So if I go up to the network and I say, hey, I'm Derick and I'm trying to get into Harbor Freight. Well, if I don't have the right keys on my laptop to say, hey, you're approved, it won't let me in. So that's what the security company does.
I do have a question. If I wanted to be a release manager, and if you answered it already, I apologize. Like, what 3 things would I need to know? For example, what should I know about software? What should I know about hardware? And then what should I know about networking and cloud and the distance and the remoteness of all of your 5,000 some odd stores?
Absolutely. So from the very core of everything, the help desk part of it helped me out a lot, because to understand how software interacts with hardware and how all the different ports have a different capability, right? So that was like the very core of my knowledge, to understand that portion of how that works. And as a help desk analyst, you get to figure out and kind of work with those inner workings. And so that portion of it, in the knowledge of the software that you learn, it's very tip of the iceberg when you're at a help desk. But as you move into more software application, you can take different courses, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, but you can learn some software programming at a very low level and have the very basic knowledge. Whatever you decide you would like to go into, there are a lot of companies that will pay for you to go to college or pay for you to go get these certificates, and as long as you agree to work for them for X amount of years, or 1 to 2 years, your tuition is completely paid for. Or they do a reimbursement where they'll pay you. Well, you'll pay up front, and as long as you finish, they'll pay you back. Okay. Right? A lot of the companies are forthcoming of that information and the benefits that they offer. Whether it be health benefits, but specifically tuition reimbursement. That's something that I ask in an interview. If I want to expand my knowledge, and a lot of people go into the interview and they want to they're thinking that they're trying to prove themselves to a company. But on the other side of it is they have to prove themselves to you, right? As much as we're driven by money, I think that the big thing is the important thing to remember is that they also need you as well. And how can they service you as well? It has to be a two-way street.
I have a question. So for all the things that you know and the process procedures and all the technology that you've amassed, have you been able to use your technology elsewhere, like in the context of paying it forward back to the community? Have you been able to take that knowledge and do way better if you see somebody else struggling? Can you share how you can use your intelligence and your skills to actually help the community?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the immediate community that I think about is the people that know I'm in technology, right? Like my friends and my family. That could be fun, right? Like if your friends are like, oh, Derick, you know tech, you fix your computer, so if you have any dreams that you're currently, or you did have before, it's okay to switch it up. It's okay to dabble in a bunch of different things. Like I said, I've been in the restaurant industry practically my whole life. My dad's a chef, so I kind of grew up cooking, and I went into banking and things like that. So I think it's really good to be multifaceted. As much as we're talking about technology right now, I think it's very important to have a diverse background. And I think a lot of companies value you having a diverse background because you bring a different perspective in regards to, you know, how things work, right? So, you know, that I think, you know, when it comes to your parents' approval, I think that you know, it's tough to convince somebody something that they don't know about, right? And especially my experience with it is, you know, if a parent doesn't understand it, they may deflect and they may say, you know, hey, you know, that's not a good idea, or you should go the more understanding route, or the more cookie cutter route, so to speak. And you know, it can be a tough conversation, but I think if you're passionate about it and you stick with it and you show them, you know, that you're having success with it, I think parents will understand and they'll support you.
How did you find yourself, as you were studying to do more IT stuff, did you find yourself bringing that into whatever your current career was at that time?
You know, just the basic understanding of like, you know, all the Microsoft Office tools, you know, when it comes to Excel and Word and PowerPoint and, you know, everything else, Sheets. There's a portion of that transpires into everything that you do, right? Whether it be your phone, you know, learning how to do software updates and just troubleshoot the basic stuff with your phone, which I'm sure you guys all understand, right? You know, before you turn it off, turn it back on, you know, is it updated, you know, things like that. To bring it all back full circle, technology is integrated everywhere, right? And you know, your car can be a smart car. You know, there's all these different applications now that are coming out for making things easier at your home, whether it be, you know, a camera system, whether it be your washer and dryer that has a smart capability, your smart TVs, you know, just those basic understanding of a TV. You know, it's pretty cool to have that knowledge. And you know, I try to remain humble because I have to remind myself that people don't have the knowledge that I have, right? And you know, when you get into technology, you work with a lot of people that have great knowledge. So, you know, as you move up the ranks, you know, you start off at the bottom and you kind of feel intimidated. But overall, the knowledge of having technology, especially the way everything's going now, you know, when we had presentations at class, they would roll out a big TV with a cassette player or a tape player, you know, and there was no internet. So it's kind of great to see everything happen, and I'm glad you guys have this class. Honestly, it's really encouraging to see that you guys have this opportunity. So,
Hello, Mr. Granberry.
how you doing?
All right. Well, thank you for joining the class today. You gave an incredible discussion on technology infrastructure. You shared a lot about your job. You shared a lot about other ways to leverage technology, get the education, how to do it your way, how to do it their way, which I really appreciate. But now after the class, what was your first initial reaction to the students, and where is their head at? What is the perspective that they're looking at in terms of technology and opportunities?
Yeah, you know, they're high school students, right? So, you know, the first thing I noticed is that, you know, they may not be as engaged, right? Like, this guy's coming in here to talk about, you know, what he's doing for work, and, you know, they're not really focused on these things. So I get it, you know. I remember what it was like to be in high school. But, you know, for the most part, there are some people that are really engaged. There's a lot of people that, you know, there's some kids that, you know, really want to see a future in technology, and they love it.
Very good, very good. Is there any single bit of advice that you would give today and tomorrow's high school student getting into IT infrastructure or in your career path?
Yeah, take advantage of everything you can while it's free, you know, and make sure that, you know, you test everything out while you're at this stage in your life.
Great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.